Hello everybody, welcome back for StarCraft 2 action. It's Oliveira going up against a Lambo in the Bellum Gens Elite. Best of 5, and we load up into Goldenaura for the first map. And both of these players haven't really played any Zerg vs Terran this tournament. We saw Lambo play one game versus Rainer's Terran. And that's all the data we have from either of their Z versus T in this tournament. Lambo played some Ling, Bane, Hydra, Ghost River versus Rainer. Went into Lurkers and just kind of tried to take a base very close to the Terran and continuously attack them. Kind of go for a war of attrition style. Do some Ling run-bys whenever the Terran tries to move out. So not like Ling, Bane, Ling, not Roach based, just Ling, Bane, Hydra. Are we going to see that again here? I don't know. I think you play very differently versus a player who you think doesn't play the matchup professionally, which means they are inclined to make more mistakes against other styles. And as soon as you play slightly off meta, it's very hard for them to adapt because it's not their main race, right? Oliveira, 1 Rax, expand with the gas, getting a Reaper, is going to get his CC. Nothing super aggressive early on in the game. And we're going to see, is Oliveira gonna go for another CC here? Is he going to go for a quick second gas and get the factory up? Doesn't look like it. He's going to have, or not going to have 100 gas to start a factory right away. But he might start a marine here. Yes, he does, and he will have the gas for a factory shortly after. What did the Overlord see? Didn't see anything. Probably saw the Reaper leave, though. Lambo getting his third base. And speed isn't even underway. Look at Lambo pulling out of gas early. It's like, nope. I don't need speed that early. I just need it kind of early, and if I see a Reaper show up a little too early, I can put back in gas, start that speed a little earlier, or just put back in gas, start a Roach Warren, however you like to respond to multiple Rax Reapers. And the first Queens are out, which are often ample defense. Oh, the Reaper didn't get the target on the low health Ling, and so nothing really gonna happen here in this early game. Do see factory coming out, second gas coming out, and Oliveira is floating a bunch of money. Might start a third CC at some point here. Prioritizes the starport first. This Reaper still no kills. He is looking around, spots the third base. Can't stop this creep from spreading though. And Oliveira prioritizing more Hellions and the starport before even considering an extra CC. And it doesn't seem to be interested actually. Queuing up more Hellions. Wants to put on a bit of pressure here at the front of Lambo's base. Interestingly enough, Lambo put a second drone on gas. I don't know if he meant to fill it up all the way or if that he put a second drone in gas when he started speed as kind of a timing for his lair. That would be kind of dope. I like those things when players do that. I like to steal those. I kind of like, oh, so if you start your third queen and after that finishes, you throw drones back in gas. Those are the type of timings that work for me. Some people might be better at like using the timer or their supply cap or both. I prefer to like stack things like that. Now the third CC did start in the front here. We have some Hellions out in the front as well. How many on the field? 6 of them. As soon as you reach 4, it starts getting to the territory where it's like, are they gonna do a cheeky little run by? I hope not. Oh, actually, the Queens can nicely kind of barricade off the Hellions from both of Lambo's bases. Look at that. I called this the corridor of death in the previous video where Bjorn played against the Terran, and he would just put tanks like all up against this ridge. And then he would just run up this ramp and pressure this fourth base. And then run down and run up this ramp. And the Ling Bane going up and down would just get shelled, shocked by those siege tanks, and the Hellions of Oliveira looking for a little cheeky run by. But luckily Lambo has Lings in position, doesn't A-move them in until the last possible second. And a lair has started here for Lambo. Bailingness is gonna go down. Let's look at Oliveira's base. Double engineering bay going down. Has 2 racks operational already. And is about to get stim. There's no medevacs on the ground just yet, or in the air, on the field. And these overlords preventing that little extra vision for where you can spread your creep, but knowing that the Hellions are in the bottom left, this creep should blow out of the base real fast. More gas is going down for Lambo. How many gas does he have? Ooh, here's the Liberator that we saw built earlier. Only has the 1 kill. And this one is 2. Oh, there were 2 made. Oh, damn. Big commitment here on the Liberator. Doesn't quite reach, but Lambo doesn't realize. What is the tech of choice going to be here? He has all of his gases, but I see... And there we go. Hydroden. I was like, I don't see a Spire. I don't see a Hydroden either. Gas is slightly problematic there. Armory at the front. Wow. That's a nice Bailing Bust target if I've ever seen one. If you get to Bailing Bust this before 2-2 starts... I don't think that's going to line up, because you kind of want to Bailing Bust with Bailing Speed. 3rd base is down for Oliveira. 4th base is down for Lambo and droned up. Look at that difference. Look at how many workers Lambo has been able to produce here in this early game. Just defending pretty much perfectly now. The first mistakes are going to come out with these queens getting taken down with that transfuses even going down. Ooh, Lambo slipping up a little. Not expecting all these Marines to be with the Hellion Reaper. I probably didn't see them come over, and he thought it's only Hellion Reaper, so if I get an alert from the little Brood Queen that shouts at you, like, your units are under attack, he was probably like, oh, it's the Hellions and the Reapers doing like 1 or 2 pop shots on my queens. It's all okay. It's all okay. And then when he looked, it was Stim Marines. It's rough. That's rough. The same double drop going across the map now. What's in there? Oh, it's Widow Mines. What the hell? It's 2 Widow Mines, a bunch of Hellions, and Marauders. No, it's Mariners. Okay. Yeah, the first Marauders now just being built and extra factories being added on. That is interesting. Infestation Pit is in peril of being sniped, but the Hive has already started. A Lurker Den has already started. And the Widow Mine has been taken down. All of these drones are hidden on this 1 gas geyser underneath the Overlords. If this was Idra, he would leave the game thinking he lost all of his drones to MMA. 5th base of Lambo going down here. But Lambo's still going strong on 4 bases. Remember, he is on almost 90 drones. Just happily mining. We'll see if that is happily ever after. Because Oliveira is clearly intent on putting on a lot of pressure here. Trying to get the Zerg out of his game. 1-1 about to finish for Lambo, and it is going to be tough, because it's not going to be done for this push. It's not really a push, it's just 2 medevacs, 3 medevacs full of Marines. They will trade very nicely against the Ling Bane Hydra now, but as soon as those upgrades finish, the armor will help those Zerglings a lot. The Banelings as well. Well, the Hydras, of course, benefit, but the Hydras are pretty low HP for how expensive they are and how many you make. So, like, it feels better to have it on the Lings, if that makes sense. Oh, this 5th base does get sniped. This 1 Marauder leading the charge. And, oh my god, Oliveira just runs into the Zerg army to click on the Banes. Misclicks the ones, and it would get a nice Baneling connection there for Lambo. And a couple Widow Mines here as the anchor, but actually, those get circumvented almost completely. Nice hold position. I remember seeing Cyril do that the first time. I was like, huh? Did he just hold position his army? Why did that happen? And he kept doing it. I was like, huh? Huh? And it's for the same reason why you keep clicking behind the Zealot to push it out of the wall. Moving units are slightly smaller and can bunch up a little bit more than standing still units, and it's also easier to see the Widowmine targeting when stuff is standing still, but also the units spread out a little extra, so the amount of casualties is also lower. Also, Ling stop running into your expensive units with the projectiles still following them. It just makes the dealing with it a lot more consistent. Oh my god, Lambo actually pushed into the 4th base of Oliveira here with a Lurker Hydra push, and they take down that planetary fortress. Caught the tail end of that push here whilst Oliveira was pushing the 4th base of Lambo. Both players just throwing out haymakers here. Oh, this medevac is full of units, but only has a couple HP. 4 Widowmines here. Lurkers on the top edge as well, making sure that no siege tanks can be planted down there. And Oliveira decides to retreat. Do have a couple more Lurkers of Lambo here, trying to find some value. And they do get a little bit of bio here, but they will end up going down in the end. Probably not the greatest trade for Lambo, but he does get a lot of momentum here. 2 Widowmines chillin'. Lambo intends to retake this base. He's going to put a Spore Crawler there as well. And Oliveira going out with a big push. Halfway 3-3, kind of an anti-timing on himself. 2-2 is about to finish for Lambo, so it's actually quite a good time for Lambo to fight if those finish up. And those Freedom Zones do get a couple pop shots on the Hydras, on the Lings. But the Lurkers are in position, holding off this force just a little bit, but this looks like a very gnarly position. Look at that. How do you go down this ramp and defend your base? Like, I wouldn't blame Lambo just pulling all of his drones and just evacuating them to the high ground. But Lambo, instead, is going to try move down 2 ramps. I feel like you need a 3rd angle, but Lambo disagrees. Goes in from the right side, mostly, and washes on top of the Terran army, but not enough Banelings here to deal with the bio. We still have some Lurkers in the back, and Lambo only has to stabilize. Just keep his bases alive, and his reinforcements will do the job. More Banelings coming out. The Lurkers are the backbone of this army, and they are still alive, but this 4th base gets clicked down, and the Lurkers, or the drones, have to be evacuated to their new home. Oliveira also re-establishing a 4th base of his own. And this game is super scrappy. We do see a bunch of 2 supply ghosts coming out to join the fray. They are ready to snipe some Lurkers and some Vipers, put down some EMPs. Do we have Adrenal Glands? No, we do not. Ay, 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 Lambo. Get those Adrenal Glands. He does get +3 Carapace. That is more important. And he's a little gas-starved, so it could actually just be a decision to not get it. 200 to 200. Or is it 150, 150 nowadays? I feel like they lowered the price on an upgrade. But I'm not sure if it's Adrenal Glands. Oh. Damn, I'm a bad boy. I don't quite remember. In my mind, Adrenal Glands is 200, 200, but it might have been changed to 150, 150 at some point. Ooh, a Widowmine drop so late into the game at the only fresh base of Lambo. Boom, bada boom. 10 drones go down. And that is a decent hit to Lambo's economy, mostly because that is like the most fertile base. Is that the good way to put it? I'm not sure. The most rich base that Lambo can still mine. But his 5th base will soon be operational once again. Some ghosts are with the small contingent army of Oliveira. Where's the rest of that army? It's just kind of chilling back at home. The 4th base is completely loaded up with SCVs, making sure that Oliveira gets the maximum amount of minerals from that base. And these ghosts make this very scary. They go for the snipes, get yoinked in by the Vipers, and they do die, and this small bio army can't stand against the might of this Zerg force. Lots of Lurkers. How many Lurkers do we have? 14. And how many have we lost? We have lost 11 already, so investing pretty heavily into the Lurkers here. Not as many as Solar lost in a particular game we saw recently. Showtime versus Solar. Go watch it. Oh, Oliveira runs on in. The Vipers don't have any energy yet, and this is not a good position. The Lurkers have to run into the Terran army, and you know how fast Marines deal damage. These Hydras stand to tank for the Lurkers, but they get shredded. And now the last of the Lurkers get scanned. We have a couple up top here, but they are not in position to defend the 5th base, and Lambo feels like he can't stay in this game. GG's out, and Oliveira takes game number 1, taking this lower ground area as the Terran is so strong. And you can set up from pretty far away with Widowmine, Siege Tanks, Liberators, as we saw Oliveira do. You even have a cheeky high ground here. But if you don't have this base as the Zerg, they do the same thing to your 3rd base. So it's a pretty difficult map, I feel like. And if you don't get like a stranglehold over the top side of this map, which sadly Lambo wasn't really able to do and or leverage, makes it pretty hard. Oliveira takes game number 1. And in game number 2, or game number 2, as we say in Dutch, we load up into Oceanborn for a game between Oliveira and Lambo. Pretty standard map. I would say Goldenaura slightly less standard. Or maybe it's just me being biased. I just kind of hate the map being a Zerg. But apparently it's neutral enough compared to the other maps. Although they had the best of 9 rule, I think, in this tournament. Probably. I didn't look into that, if they just took the best of 9 format that ESL was trying out. Or if they went for, well, not a best of 9, but a 9 map pool. Map pool with 9 maps. Picking order thing. Where I think they went like AB and then AB again, but then AB is picking instead of banning. So the first player bans, second player bans, and the first player picks a map, I think. Or maybe it's the second player picks and then the first player picks? I didn't look into it, as I said. But I'm going to assume they went for the 9 map stuff. Like, it's just easier to follow the format of the main tournaments. Maybe not as entertaining. Because you'll definitely also catch a little bit of flack for it. If you have a tournament that has a slightly different format than what the pros are used to. But it can pay off that lower risk if you find a cool format change that makes the tournament more interesting. Like, they did do the best of 3s in upper bracket, which is kind of funny that most of the time spent casting this tournament and you watching it has been lower bracket matches, because they were all best of 5s and there's more of them. For example, Oliveira especially, I think this is like the 3rd series we cast of him, because he just kind of won and then he won again, and then he lost in the winner semis for the first time, and now he's like in loser semis, and the winner gets to play against the winner of the previous series, spoiler, Showtime, for a spot in the losers finals. So that's top 3. That's pretty high up. Reaper trying his darnest to kill something, but he just can't get the headshots. Never gets that one-shot kill. Maybe he just has too low caliber a gun. I don't know. Or Zergs just have too thick of a skull. That's also possible. Just like T-Rex skulls, you know? Harder than diamond, apparently. Or is what I was always told in the cartoons. Pretty similar build for Oliveira, but now prioritizing a faster 3rd CC. Getting a starport a little later. Lambo sees that 3rd CC pretty much as it starts, I feel like. And Oliveira does not see the fact that it has been spotted. Damn, vision tricks. So is Lambo going to punish this? It's pretty much impossible to punish, I think, nowadays. A 3cc opener. Unless you do, like, the most blind stuff as a Zerg. So I'm interested to see if there is a punish if you see it start. Because so far, we do have a forward 3rd base for Lambo, indicating that maybe we're gonna see some roach shenaniganry. This is, oh, the one drone. Oh! Morphs into an Evo chamber. That's a lot of HP for the amount of minerals. You could... Oh, the drone dies. You could make it into a spore, but a spore costs the same, but has less HP. And so it goes proportionally to the amount of HP that the building has and the amount of time that it takes to build. And I think Evos build pretty fast for the amount of HP that they have. So an Evo keeps them alive, but it's bigger. So if you have multiple drones that you want to save, you almost always see the spores coming out. We do see a lair coming out for Lambo. Second gas. And the queens are diligently pushing the creep forward. And that's kind of what you expect with such a forward base. Look at this. He is eyeing that third base of the Terran. Quite possibly. A fourth base does go down though, so perhaps not. How many queens do we have? 8 queens. 150 mineral queens, baby. It's one hell of a drug. Armory going down for Oliveira. Does not have an engineering base of yet. These Hellions have been driving around trying to get some damage, but only found the one drone and one overlord, apparently. That was sacrificed for the greater cause or the greater good. Did we see? Yes, we did. We saw Cloak finish up for the Banshees. We have 2 Banshees on the map. They cloak before they even move into the airspace of the Zerg. They do show themselves on top of the Hellions, though, and uh-oh. Oh, Overseer's here, though. Lots of Hellbats. And if you spread your queens, you don't take a lot of splash. We have Transfuses coming in as well. This queen, oh, 50 energy queen, does die just before getting into range of that Transfuse, but 8 queens can deal quite effectively with the Hellbats. The Banshees were targeted down really early, which is the most important part. Because the Hellions just don't, or the Hellbats don't do that much damage compared to the Banshee. So if you click down the Banshees, then you can kind of kite out the Hellbats later. Just don't A-move literally all of your links into them. Oh, Lambo tries to get a surround there, but Oliveira is ready to deal with it. Gets a nice attack off on a lot of these lings. Ooh, gets another nice attack. Lots of lings deep fried. But Lambo, pretty comfortable position once again. The worker difference isn't as big as in the first game. Does that bode well for Oliveira or for Lambo? Because the creep is looking pretty good. Hasn't been denied as much. Oliveira. He's going for a tank. He's going to go for more tanks. We see another tank, another factory coming up, a lot of barracks being added on, and now 1-1 is starting on up. A 4th base being added on. Oliveira. I mean, I don't remember in which tournament or where the interview came from, but I believe it was an online translated interview, I think, with Oliveira, where they asked him how he played so well versus Serral. I think at Katowice, and he basically said that, well, I practice with Serral a lot, and I can only win if I go for macro games. So that's kind of his Zerg, or his Terran versus Zerg style, is just playing longer games. Doesn't do a lot of the 8-rack stuff. And just try to get ahead, you know, with some cheeky builds, but then plays it out. Is not afraid to go into the Ghost, into the Liberator, etc. Oh my god, that's a lot of upgrades finishing up for both players. Grooved Spine, so we get that Hydra range, we get those Lurkers. And are we going to see Lurker Den once again? Let's look at Lambo's army. It's a couple Hydras, it's a lot of Lings, and it's a little clump of Banelings as well. A little bit of creep gets cleared up, but we have a lot of creep on this map. Dude, these guys are just macroing up like crazy. Oliveira gets his 4th base, nice little planetary, completely walls off the 3rd, and is now expanding towards Lambo a little bit. Kind of interesting if he goes for the top base or the bottom base as his 5th. But you don't see this wall off with the depots every game, I feel like. Nice little tank positioning here. Kills the creep tumors. And these Hellbats, ooh, they can do what they were designed to do. Kill Zerglings. Especially with that +3 blue flame. Or did they patch that out in the end? I think they patched it out. I had a whole paragraph on it, where in the end game, Hellbats with max upgrades suddenly become super valuable, because Zerglings are the bread and butter of the Zerg endgame, because they usually are floating a lot of minerals, but gas is the bottleneck mostly. And, well, Marines and Hellbats do very well against Zerglings. Ooh, Lambo, is he gonna attack off a creep? I was like, this guy is insane if he's gonna go up this ramp. I would be very surprised by that. Oh, but he's just taken away the attention of Oliveira. Goes in with a bunch of banelings trying to kill this fourth base, but the Lynx and the Hydras were kind of blocking that assault. Does mean that a lot of the Hydras and supporting Lynx do die for this fourth base, but it is dead. Lambo's like, if I can kill that fourth base, you're just not going to have enough income. I can make a lot of banelings at home, and how are you going to get onto my creep? I have amazing creep pred this game. Now, Oliveira has been doing a pretty good job of clearing the creep so far, and he has 6 tanks, 5 at the front here. Oh my god, Lambo clumps up or runs in. Whoa, that's a lot of tanks and Widow Mines. I don't know if you ever want to run in there. A bunch more banelings are being started up here. We see Adrenal Glands 2-2 coming in as well. We don't see a Lurker Den. It's not even on the map. It's just Lingbane Hydra, baby, with Hive Tech. Might see a couple Vipers coming out to deal with all of these tanks. And on the other side of the map, we see Ghost coming out 3-3 starting for Oliveira. So this attack, even though it looks kind of all in after losing that fourth base, Oliveira doesn't do that. He just starts up another base. Like, I can play like this forever. I'm just going to consistently play better than you over the course of the game. And it doesn't matter how long it's going to take for me. He believes in the Terran late game. Or super late game. And Lambo goes in from 2 sides with his Ling Baneling. Gets a nice Blinding Cloud on 1 tank with his Viper. The rest of the tanks get cleared up by the Lings and the Banelings. And some reinforcements do come in. The Widow Mines get cleaned up. But both players, in the end, feel like they have to retreat here. Some Lings get a couple kills in the mineral line. Nice job by Lambo. 6 SCVs do bite to dust. Or, well, I guess there's not a lot of dust underwater. It's like in the water. But they do bite the sand, seabed. A lot of fish poop. Oh, look at that. These supply depots get darker if I zoom out. See that? That's so weird. Now Lambo is up to 6 bases. He's sitting pretty, and he hasn't really teched up into anything else. We see no Lurker Den. We see no Ultralisk Den. We do see the tier 3 upgrades. But we also don't see a Spire. Like, what is Lambo gonna do? Feels like he just wants to kill his opponent off of Lingbane Hydra with Viper support. Which, honestly, if your opponent is just making a lot of Ghost, making higher tech units feels very bad. Because they just snipe them and then they instantly pop, and it feels bad. Oh, we saw Lambo start Neural for a little bit there. But he probably just wanted to start the energy upgrade for Infestors, and then he was like, oh wait, it got removed. Oh, that's funny. Now he starts up 2 Infestors. Infestors are very cool to add. They can't fungal from underground anymore, which I think they could for about 1 patch, which was amazingly OP, and I say amazing because it was very cool for me and Zerg players around the world. Lambo just pushing in more here with his, well, mostly basic unit army. Does have a couple Vipers, but he just wants to trade out with his hopefully superior economy. But if you look at the economy, I feel like Oliveira is sitting pretty. There's 5 bases now. Ooh, gets a juice. Decent, juicy, GC. Yeah, that's what a Yeezy is. It's like a shoe, right? But it's like juicy, but also decent. So it's like a Yeezy. It's kind of like, oh. I do like the Infestor here. If you get some good fungals on the Ghost, it stops them from sniping because it gets interrupted by the damage. And also, it helps your Ling Bane and even Hydras get on top of them. Oh, Widow Mines. Nice splits by Lambo. They don't get huge hits, but now the Ghosts. They do decent damage against light units. That's what they do. This Infestor from the back. Nice fungal coming out of Lambo, but we don't have any detection. Never mind the Observers or the Overseers. Come on down. And in downtown, we will go. Only 3 Ghosts remaining at the front. 3 Ghosts remaining on the map. Lambo clears up the rest of the minefield. Now, that was a pretty decent trade. At the top, we do see this 1 drop of Oliveira taking down a base of Lambo, and that is kind of difficult. As the Zerg, you need to commit a decent force of units to deal with this drop. Lambo sends over a bunch of cracklings. And more Infestors are being added on. I like the Infestors in this matchup, especially against these high of a ghost count. How many tanks do we still have? Only 1 tank on the map remaining. Oliveira completely stopped producing tanks. He switched into the Widow Mines instead. So 3 Widow Mines at a time. And now even Liberators coming out. Lambo goes in for another fight off of creep. More Banelings just roly-polying on into the Terran army. And looking for those juicy hits. And Lambo, does he have enough steam left remaining? Enough gas in the tank? Oh, the Vipers come in. Yoink in 1 Ghost, 2 Ghosts, 3 Ghosts. And the Lings keep them from running away. Do see some more snipes going down on the Hydras and the Vipers. But just not enough snipes right now. More snipes going down. Boom, boom. And the Lings get on top of the Ghost. Cancel that 1 snipe. Infestors in the back. And Lambo is pushing forward. The 3rd base has to lift. Oliveira, is he gonna hold on? Liberators, they still focused the most expensive unit in the area. Completely OP, if you ask me. Look at that. Like, if there's a Ling in the circle, even closer to the Liberator, and the Infestor is on move command, which makes it a lower threat level, the Liberator will still target the Liberator, or the Infestor. Because I think it goes by cost, which is super annoying. Because you're used to units not targeting your Infestors if you move command them, and your Hydras, for example, are attack moved, which makes them higher threat level. So units on attack move from the opponent will target those first. And then suddenly you walk into a Liberator zone and they just fucking... like, they're just looking around and like... and they hone in on you right away. Like... I just distinctly remember the first, like, year I was playing against Liberators, I was just so frustrated with my expensive units just evaporating in those zones. Because if you run Lings forward, they're good against tanks, they're good against Widow Mines, like, they soak all the shots, and then versus Liberators, they don't do shit. It feels bad. Lambo actually taking this bottom base, wow. Nice Supreme late game / end game move here. Very nice. If you take one of the bases of your opponent, which right now he's splitting it down the middle, so it's not really his opponent's base yet, but if you look at the distance, it kind of feels like it should be Terran's base in almost every game. And another big assault coming in from Lambo. He's getting some lurker upgrades finally, getting more Infestors as well, which, I mean, look at if you get like 1, 2 fungals on top of this big clump of Ghost, Craigasm. And here comes the Infestor. He's on a mission. He's ready. Unburrows, gets the fungal. Misses a couple of them, but gets most of them. And Lambo just collapses on top of that army. The Overseers were sniped as well, though. So now they come in once more. And we get the vision on top of these Ghosts. Snipe the Ghosts. The Ghosts are expensive. The Ghosts are annoying. But the Zerg army is slowly but surely thinning out, and the reinforcements of the Terran are coming in. Lambo, are you running out of steam? Did you get tunnel visioned on these annoying Ghosts? Well, he did, but he's gonna kill them all. And that is what counts. Low army counts do favor the Terran a lot. Just low amounts of bio are way stronger than low amounts of Zerg most of the time. Upgrades are almost fully done for both players, at least for as far as the main army composition goes. We see +2 armor for vehicles on Oliveira. So his Liberators and Widow Mines are going to be slightly more tanky, which is pretty good against Hydras and Lings, because they are both very high attack speed units, which is what they get their damage per second from. is that they attack a lot, and not because they hit hard every so often. They just do decent damage very often. One lone widow mine in a medevac. Medevac is going to go into this corner of the map, find some dead space, and gets F2'd back, but all of the Hydras get into their cocoon. It's winter. Winter is coming, and I don't... Not winter StarCraft, but just winter in general. And I don't want to be caught in a blizzard. So I'm going to become a lurker cocoon. Oliveira has 5 bases now. This top right base is kind of his bread and butter, or his lifeline in this game, because this bottom left base could fall at any moment, I feel like. Even just 20 Banelings just running on in. But what's better than 20 Banelings? It's 18 lurkers, baby. That's a lot of lurkerinos coming out of Lambo here, denying the third base once again. There's almost no lurkers. You just select a couple lings, steal them out of your group, and just like I said, this base could die at any moment, and it does. Lots of SCVs going down. More SCVs die than there are seconds for them to die. But Oliveira does not sit still during all of that. Denies another base for Lambo at the top here. Lambo has to take this bottom base. Oh, gets a lot of yoinks on the Liberators. Liberators unsiege when they get yoinked. And these lurkers try to get on top of the Terran production. And are they going to succeed? Yes, they are. And Oliveira says, good game. Well done. You delayed your lurker super long. You fought me at every point for every little tiny space on the map. Your creep was great. And now you are on my field center. You are going to go into all of my production with your lurkers and make me completely unable to remax. And he taps out in game number 2, which brings us to a game number 3. And for game number 3, we load up into Alcyone. Another relatively standard map, although we do have these juicy gold bases. And this is where we decide who goes up 2-1, goes to match point, and has a good chance of taking this series. And moving on to the winners or losers semi, which there's only one of. I think that's top 4? Pretty sure. Now, before all of the action kicks off, you know what happens. It's the series before the series could be over. It's time to subscribe, like the channel, perhaps even leave a comment, share it with a friend. Whatever you can do to support my channel, I do really appreciate it. I honestly just really like talking about video games, and my girlfriend doesn't want to hear it, so this is what we do instead. And I hope you you enjoyed the videos. I hope to keep doing it for a long time. Keeping StarCraft alive, one cast at a time, baby. Nah, my ego ain't that big. Let's see what's gonna happen here. This Overlord went way out. Just want to see, or wanted to see if there were any proxy racks around. Look at Lambo. So, I don't know about you, but I am from an older time. I'm from a simpler Zergy time, where the first Overlord goes to your opponent's natural to see if they even took a natural. Because that was just kind of what you needed to do all throughout Wings of Liberty, and basically for half a part of the Swarm as well. Taking a natural was kind of like a, yeah, usually we do it, but, you know, one basing is just so fun, dude. I just really... And then first Protoss, of course, they took one base, but then the Mother Core would be flying around. Remember that one. And then... The Mothership Core looks kind of cool in comparison to those weird orby things of Stormgate, by the way. That's crazy. But then you know the Protoss was doing some type of robo build, but which one? How many Immortals? How many Sentries? Where's he going to build the pylons to overcharge? Is he going to build a Nexus in my natural and overcharge it? Because the pylons were a Legacy of the Void. We literally had to Nexus overcharge for an entire expansion. Holy moly. Let's see, Oliveira goes for that quick 3rd CC once again, even though he lost with it in game number 2. No units have been lost as of yet. We did lose a couple minerals on Lambo's side. One spore scrawler was made to save a drone and then cancelled. And again is going for the 111 here. Oliveira is going to get some Hellions with his Reaper. Let's see how many Hellions. And then going for a starport. Let's see if he goes for the Banshees again. Let's see if he goes for the Hellbats again. Or that he wants to go for something different. Could add on a second barracks and go for a 211, but he would have already been making the Marine, so that's not going to happen. 211's different build, I'm sorry. Oh, these Lings, actually, they got the speed, and they are running into the natural here. Might get an SEV or 2. There's actually a Marine in the mineral line. Wow, heads up play there by Oliveira. He's like, well, this could happen. This Marine isn't doing much anyways. And they got 1 SEV, I think? 1 Marine, 1 SEV for 4 Lings, and now this Overlord's still gonna get picked up by another Marine. Oh, nope, going back to the high ground. F that, but a Viking is out. I like Vikings. Versus Zerg. Like, just the threat of you losing your Overlords. It's pretty darn annoying. Oh, nice creep spread removal by Oliveira. Comes in at the right time. Gets a couple juicy tumors without needing to scan for them. Let's see what's behind this. We have, again, an armory. We have Hellions being kept at home. I feel like this is going to be another Hellbat push. Or is it just going to be a Hellion drop in the main? 4th base going down for Lambo, so is probably going to spot this. But is it in time? Extra barracks now being added on. What is this going to be? We do have a couple Hellions in the middle. What is this armory for? Is he going to drop them in the mineral line and turn them into Hellbats? Or can the Hellbats kill this base? I don't think so. I mean, 4 Hellbats can do some damage, but... Do see the drop coming down. The Hellions run on it. Well, they drive on in. The cars go in, and now they transform into Hellbats. Get some decent trades with the Lings. And now all of the Queens have to come off the line. And that is when the second contingent of cars tries to get in. And oh my god, no, Lambo, no! Oh no, he pulled away all of his units. And the Hellions get into the natural. Only 2 drones go down for that. 5 now. And this one, Queen, does not get transfused. The Hellions do get away, and these Hellbats even get healed by the medevac. The medevac has not been targeted yet by the Queens. And this is just going from bad to worse here for Lambo. Feels bad. Man, these Hellions are just crushing him. This feels like one of my ladder games. And when you lose more than 10 drones, everybody knows that is a tough one. Oliveira takes a quick dub. Game number 3. And bodes us right over into game number 4. For which we load up into Amphion. Where Oliveira is now up 2-1 on match point in this best of 5. And Lambo needs to step it up and crawl his way back into this best of 5. Force the final match. And perhaps that way take the dub. But Oliveira's up a game. He has 1 game to lose. And he kind of played like it last game. Just went balls to the wall with a lot of Hellions. He's like, Lambo defended very perfectly in game number 1. Defended pretty well to game number 2. I'm just going to be even more aggressive game number 3. So the Hellbat Banshee attack didn't work. But what about the Hellbat drop with Hellion run by? Words. Now we're on Amphion, so the first kind of the least standard map of this series so far. And as a Zerg, I'm not the greatest fan, but I also don't fully hate it. It's a little annoying when the Terran gets to like set up on this high ground near your field center, and it's kind of like, well, how do I defend? It's kind of like a skill issue, bro. Should have had creep there, should have had 20 Mutalisk and 40 Ultralisk. If you don't have those, it's probably on you, boy. And first time we see a second Reaper being created here. Or, no, this is the first one. What? I thought it was on the unit tab. I'm wide awake. So Oliveira doing the same build as he's done in the previous games. And Lambo again, just slowly mining gas up to that speed. Pulls out drones of gas as soon as this hatchery's gonna pop. Because that gives him the most efficient mineral income that he can get. You could mine extra on your main base, but you get diminishing returns after 16 drones up to 24. Which I think we saw that with Alpha Star the first time. Like, Alpha Star was playing some PvP, I think against Mana, and also against TLO PvZ maybe? Was really oversaturating his first two bases. Whereas, like, the more human behavior is to not get into the red number, right? It's also kind of that, I think, psychologically. Because this number gives you the feedback that 16 good, 17 eh. It's not as bad as 16. Or it's not as bad as 15, but it's... You kind of don't want to do that, you know? Like, when you have 4 out of 3 guys on gas, it just gets red. It gets red, right? When it's 17? Or does it get red over 24? I actually don't know. It makes sense for it to become red as soon as you hit the cap. And it's also a little dumb that 3 is the maximum on a geyser, but 16 is the optimum, not the maximum, on minerals. So, you have this UI thing that's actually has 2 different standards, which I've always found kind of jarring, where I was like, it should be 16 out of 24, or not. But I guess that on a geyser, the optimum and the maximum are almost always 3. I think back in the day, there were a couple maps where a gas was like so weirdly angled that you could mine with 4 and get a little bit extra out of it. But it didn't work on every geyser, not on every map, and sometimes it wasn't even, like, mirrored correctly. So on a map, like, this geyser would need 4, and then the one on the other side would need 3. Just weird stuff like that. So, quiet start to the game here with 1 Reaper going down. That is always a good feeling as the Zerg. Oh, the sigh of relief that you can breathe. And again, a Lambo with the 2 groups of queens. When we first saw Raynor introduce this after his hyperbolic time chamber training arc, where he played versus, like, there's like 1 or 2 videos on Lambo's channel, I'm pretty certain, where it's like Raynor just playing against him and a Laser and I think Harstem, and they all play Terran in Archon mode versus Raynor, who's like on his own. Like, and he was just defending Hellions versus 3 players with 2 sets of queens. And if you're, again, an old head like me, you have 1 group of creep queens, okay? You don't have 2 hotkeys for that. That's too many. You can still just manually spread them all the time, though. That's kind of how I usually do it. I just move them here, and then... Or I move them here, and then I grab 3 and I send them there. I guess you could get a camera hotkey for the area. That could also work. You could just hotkey your queens, and then... put a camera hotkey for the other one. Ooh, this Viking, very annoying. Gets a second kill. Oh, and the double drop gets into the natural. Even I missed it. And Lambo missed it as well. This is a close by our map. This is what you can expect, but not a lot of drone kills in the first medevac already going down. All of the queens go on top of the Marines, though. So the drop continues in the main. How many drones have we lost so far? Only 1. Sorry for obscuring the vision for a short second there, but you didn't miss anything. Oh my god, goes for an inject. What a boss move. He's like, I don't need your medevac kill. I don't need those Marines. I just need to inject my larva and just assert my dominance through pure unadulterated macro. Dude, what a move. Evolution Chamber go down. We saw a Roach Warren, and Oliveira has seen it as well. Sends out 2 more medevacs again. This Viking opener. Oh my god, he prepped this so well. He did the Viking opener earlier, didn't do any shenaniganry, and then does the Viking opener again and goes for mass drops. That's so cool, and on this map, obviously, drops are good because of the close-by airspace. Plus, if you just kind of sit here, they can't punish you either. So they can't get in front of their base, is what I want to say. You can't have your queens here to defend against the drops. You need to have your queens in the main, or a Spore, or like Mutas, which, obviously, I would play 2-base or 3-base Muta on this map every day of the week. Because Mutas also get into his base faster. And that is fun. Plus, taking a triangle base on this map is just difficult and just not as good. Because the what do you say? The distance between the 3rd base and the natural just isn't that big. 4th base gets taken down. And Lambo going for the cave mob, it seems like. It's kind of teching up on roaches, getting that infestation pit. And maybe going into Hive. He could go into Ultralisk, but I don't think he will. And this Liberator's just kind of destroying Lambo right now. Completely stopping his mining. Some Hellions get a couple more drones. 4th base gets killed again. Oh my god, the anti-air is being overstressed. Completely. Only 1 Spore here, no queens. And not enough Ravagers to deal with the Liberator as of yet. Oh! The Liberator unsieges, re-sieges. And the Ravagers want to shoot their shot. But no 4th base for Lambo. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just go balls to the walls, get more Roaches, Ravagers, and go for an all-in play here. Because what can you do? You still don't have a 4th base. 8.5 minutes in. Does get an Infestor, gets Hive, gets a Baneling Nest. What is exactly going to be the plan here? What is that Hive going to do? Is this Hive fake? It could be. Let's look at the unit tab. 27 Roaches and 10 Ravagers. That's a pretty big army. We get +2 Carapace as well. 1/1 Roaches. It's a pretty common timing to attack. We have 5 tanks and 3 Liberators on the map, though. Look at that. Tanks, tanks, tanks. And a tank and a tank. But if you can keep your vector of attack hidden for long enough, you can maybe bust through the front before the rest of those tanks really, repositioning themselves. The Infestors have been revealed, or at least one of them gets a fungal, kills 1 medevac with 1 Marine. Just the Marine that was still flirting with the pilot, you know? Because the pilot of the medevac is 100% female, if I listen to the voice lines. The Marine was just kind of hanging out, like, hey, you coming more often? Want to come back to my supply depot? Ultralisk Den coming out, gets scouted the moment it goes down. Adrenal Glands and the Ultralisk Den can even get clicked down. It does get clicked down, doesn't even get cancelled. And Lambo on the wrong side of the map feels bad, man. Even loses his Baneling Nest. And I don't know if Baneling Speed was even done. No, Baneling Speed was not completed. And Lambo, oh my god, he is on the back foot and a half, dude. What a game. Like, yeah, at this point, you can make like 4 spores. I feel like you should have done that 3 minutes ago. This is... I distinctly remember a Day 9 Daily talking about this, where it's like over-defending after the damage has been done or something. Where he was like, well, if you lose a bunch of damage to a drop, then making 3 Spore Crawlers basically does more damage. If there's no more drop coming, then you just basically did damage for free to yourself by making those spores. Basically, you now have to take the hit, don't invest in spores, and just make more units or drones. Oh my god, the siege tanks, they are sieged up, and I told you about the spot of hell. Should have had more skill, should have had 40 Ultralisks, but instead he has 0. Does have a nice little Ultralisk den. And this looks menacing. Let's take away that UI. We just want to see the whole battle. And Oliveira. Oh my god, the drones run away. I don't know why, but they run into the entirety of the army. And Lambo goes in from 2 sides here, but this is a lot of tanks. We do see a nice blinding cloud going down. The corrosive biles actually take care of a lot of the tanks, and the Ravagers are still alive and kicking. They have +2 carapace keeping them alive against the bio, but the tanks are not dead. But Lambo is, because he loses his entire army and his economy. And he says, GG, good luck in the rest of the tournament. Lambo drops out 5th, 6th place, together with Solar. And Oliveira moves on in this tournament, wins this set 1-3. Lambo, dude, the first 2 games were so baller. He played so well. And then the third game, he just kind of got sucker punched by Oliveira. And then this fourth game, this is just everything wrong. Everything going wrong. What is this? It feels bad. It's not the final game we want, not the final game he wanted. But still, I feel like game number 1 was pretty fun and pretty back and forth. Game number 2 was sick. And game number 3 was kind of cool, Oliveira doing a cool attack and winning. Game number 4 was ugly. So, trying to rate this series. It's a little arbitrary, of course. And I love Lambo, so I am biased. I think Oliveira played really well. And I think that's the angle we have to take. Like, Oliveira just played so well in this last game. Lambo nearly got out to his Ultralisk Rush. But what a timing attack. I just want to give it a 5 out of 8. Blue minerals. It was pretty nice. Wood mine again from this mineral line. It's 5 of those half patches, though. Like the 150 patches, or yeah, I think, instead of the 250, or the... It's like 1750 or 2500, right? Or 1500 and 2500. I don't remember. But it's the smaller patches. It's 5 small patches.
Locked in.
Thank you, Lambo, for your service. I hope you win a big one day, because you are the Zerg professor. But in this tournament, Oliveira is going to move on. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank to all of you who have recently been subscribing to the channel. I know that I've been making a bit more of a push for it, because I've been doing this for like more than a year, and I kind of want to get to the next step, get like a number of subscribers that is slightly more respectable, and then go to tournament organizers and be like, yo, I do this, please, can we work together? And with that, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, etc. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.